In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Slava Isusu Christu.
Слава навіки.
We celebrate today our parish feast day, the Nativity of John the Baptist. Luke is delivering to us long, elaborate story of that happening in history. Many details. I think some of them are well known to us, and we remember that beautiful prophecy of Zechariah that in Latin is called Benedictus, is part of the morning prayer in Latin Church, and it's also essential part of this tradition of hymns of praise in the New Testament that came over from the Old Testament. But I want to stress out one point that may be kind of uncomfortable in today's gospel. There is a statement Luke is giving to us about the parents of John, Zechariah and Elizabeth. Luke is saying that both were just in the eyes of God, blamelessly following all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord. This is extraordinary description of those people. Justice and piety of those people was great. And even though we see how they are suffering, they are longing for a child, they are praying for that child, I think those prayers took almost the biggest part of their lives. And despite the fact that they were just and following blamelessly all the commandments and ordinances, they are not receiving what they want. I think it's hard to compare suffering of different people, because everyone who suffers, he has that special feeling that his suffering is the biggest one, even though maybe it's objectively not true. But if you consider yourself also a pious and obedient to God person, maybe that suffering makes even less sense in your life. And then we still have that statement. They are just, but they are not getting what they want. They suffer because in that time and age, especially among Israelites, to be childless was seen as a great curse put from God on those people. If we concentrate just on that part of the story, we will miss the whole picture. And I think the whole picture we have in today's gospel is the picture of joy. Yes, sometimes for that joy we need to wait and be patient. Sometimes it takes time, and sometimes it takes lots of time. But what is most important, what Elizabeth and Zechariah have in their lives, it's trust. They put their trust in God. They still pray, and they are open to all the gifts and blessings that God may bestow on them. They are not harsh in their life. They are not dismissing God and saying that God does not care. Everything they have in their lives is hope for the future. And they are not just looking for a hope for themselves. What is really beautiful in today's gospel, that prophecy that Zechariah is delivering to us, is a prophecy for all the people. Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, because he has visited and ransomed his people. This is prophecy for every human being in the history of humanity. God, in his history of salvation, includes everyone. Maybe not everyone is willing to participate, this is a second question, but he's not closing that history from us. Zechariah is seeing that moment of distress just as one of the steps in his life. The most important is to come. If you look exactly at first reading that we had today from the letter of St. Paul to the Romans, there is a beautiful statement right in the beginning. The time of our salvation is near to us now than it was in the moment when we believed. With every day, a human being that is following in the footsteps of Christ is near to salvation. Is that way easy and simple? Surely not. Even if we are the most pious persons, even if we, like Zechariah and Elizabeth, follow all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord, it may be bumpy road for us in this life. But what is most important is our future. Yes, our present day is also important. But we need to look at this day as one step forward that future. That future is coming, the future of salvation. And today we celebrate in John in his Nativity, we celebrate that future that is open for all of us. John the Baptist, the forerunner of Christ, is showing us also the way. Because he is not just running in front of Christ. He is one who is following in the footsteps of Messiah. He is following God in his mercy. John has harsh life too. That the fact that he grew up in the desert means that he has lost his parents in the early age, and then we know how his life ended. He was beheaded by Herod, not that one in which time he was born, but his son. So the whole story was hard. But still, this is the story of blessing and story of salvation for us. John is showing us, Zechariah is showing us, Elizabeth is showing us, all those persons mentioned today are showing us that following God means to go towards salvation. And may that salvation today be part of our lives. Maybe when we remember that our salvation is near to us with every day, maybe those everyday situations will become more cleared and enlightened. So let us ask John the Baptist, the patron of this parish, the forerunner of Christ and a great example for all of us, let us ask him to pray on our behalf that we may follow Christ as he did. Slava Isusu Christu.